Hi, this is Shannon Tidwell back again with another Products You Love Every Which Way. This is the month of July, and this month we're going to be covering rub-ons. I have three different layouts to show you. I'm going to discuss the first two layouts, and then I will actually show you a video of me making the third layout. So I'll speed it up a bit because it took me a bit longer than we have to record, but you'll be able to see that layout made from start to finish. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. This first layout is probably my favorite of the three, maybe because it's pink and craft cardstock. I think that's one of my favorite combinations, and I really love this chevron pattern on the pattern paper on the right. So what I did on this layout, like I mentioned in my PDF, that I'm usually a little bit leery of using rub-ons on my layouts because they take such a commitment whenever you put them down. You can't, it's not like a sticker that you can put down and then change your mind and usually lift it back up and move it around and adjust it. With a rub-on, once it's down, it's down. And you have to be careful too to not get the rub-on down in the wrong place or have any of the rub-ons next to it, get on your layout. I'm sure you all know. So what I did on this layout to keep from making any mistakes, I first put the rub-ons onto several different papers. The first, I did some white cardstock, I did some craft cardstock, I did a couple different pattern papers, as well as a transparency. So I cut out each of the rub-ons and applied them to the paper I wanted them on. And then I took my scissors and very carefully trimmed around the edge of the rub-ons. So then I had basically these embellishments to just add to my page. So a couple of them I adhered straight onto the background, and then I used some pop dots to add some dimension, and added the one on the transparency, overlapped it onto one on a pop dot, so it kind of floated out there by itself. So and then I had another little rub-on jar that I added over by the title, and I like how it looks with the rub-on being on the cardstock background, just like the background that it's on. It just kind of makes it pop right off there. So, and then I added a few stickers to be in, since these were like jars, I put some stickers inside the jars. I trimmed the cookie one on the bottom left. I trimmed it a little bit so it looks like it's inside the jar. You could do some different things though. You could put the stickers down on the cardstock first, then add the rub-on, and then trim around it perhaps. I mean, there's a lot of different options. So, and then on the title, I also use rub-ons on the title, which sometimes can get a little bit tricky. What I usually do is start, I go backwards and I start from the end and work my way up. So on this one, I actually put down the letter stickers first because I knew I wanted those to be in that spot. And then I started at the bottom and worked my way from the right towards the left and added the letters in. So that way I ended up with enough room and the spacing was right, and I didn't have any mistakes, so it worked out. Also on this layout, I added a bit of trim underneath the photos. You can see I just a border sticker, and then this was a Martha Stewart felt border sticker. And I added a nice finish touch underneath the photos. For the journaling, I wrote it on a tag and then tucked it in behind the title. This usually works well for me because whenever I adhere things down, I don't use a lot of adhesive. I usually just put it at the corners or the top and the bottom, so the middle is left open, and that way whenever I want to tuck stuff behind, or if I change my mind and want to lift it up and move it, that it's not just totally completely adhered to the paper. I've got plenty of give on it, but yet it's not going to fall off the page. So don't go too crazy with the adhesive. So that would be one of my tips. But anyway, so this layout was a lot of fun to make, and I hope you'll give it a try. These jars are great. So they are by Hambly Studios. So if you want to give those a try, I think I put a couple in that linked them in the seed. So, okay, let's move on to the next layout. My second layout is a very summertime-ish layout for sure. I actually started with instead of this paper as the background, I had a scalloped piece of white cardstock as my background. And then as I was digging through my pattern paper pile looking for papers to use with it, I spied this paper and thought this would be perfect because it, even though I guess maybe it's a kind of a cloudish looking, I kind of looked at it and thought ocean, you know, waves. So I thought it would go perfectly with the rub-ons and the stickers that I had already chosen for the layout. So to start with for this layout, I first put the photo down and then I trimmed the yellow and the green cardstock, pattern papers, and adhered those next to it. Then I had this car that had the surfboard I thought was adorable, and I loved how the surfboard was so big. I thought it looked cute to put underneath the photo so it looked like the car and the surfboard was kind of supporting the photo to help tie everything all in together. And then I had on these rub-ons, whenever I use rub-ons, I like to usually use as much as I can from the sheet because if I just cut and use a little bit of it, I mean, I'm pretty much terrible at saving things for later, especially rub-ons because, you know, the back isn't going to stick to it and they're going to get stuck to something else. And if you cut it up, then it's just this weird piece. And so I usually just try to use as much as I want from the rub-ons, and then I'll just throw away the rest what's on the sheet if I'm not going to use it. So I went a little crazy on this one and they were a lot of little bitty rub-ons, and I thought they looked really cute just floating around the edge, these little fish. So I did the fish first, and then I saw the cute water drops, and I added the water drops. And then I thought, well, why not add some flowers and some sand dollars? And so I just kind of kept adding and adding around the edge of the layout. And then there was a really big wave on the sheet of rub-ons, and I kind of trimmed it down because I didn't have room for the whole wave. So I trimmed it down to just a little bit and added it right on top of the yellow polka dot paper. And then there was the saying, the Make Big Waves is also a rub-on. It was actually, it said make big waves, make big waves. There was two of them together in one strip. But I thought one was enough, so I trimmed it down and put it right on top of the wave. And let's see what else. Okay, the turtles were just too cute to pass up, so I had to add those in somewhere because since there were three of them and there were three kids in the picture, I felt like it's just something kind of meant to be. They needed to be on the page. And then we had the sunshine. So first I added the rub-on sunshine. And then on the sheet of stickers that I was using for most of the other stickers, there was also a sunshine, but I just wanted the middle part of it, so I actually cut that sticker and cut out the center circle with the polka dots and then put it right on top of my rub-on sunshine. And then, of course, I added some clouds, one with the pop dot, so needed that dimension in there. And it seems like I can't do a layout lately without having a flag across it, so I did that across the pattern paper, and it kind of overlapped onto the photo. And let's see what else. So on the journaling, I did the same thing as I did on the pink layout. I wrote it on a card and then tucked it in behind the photo. I added a couple little label stickers to it so it can grab easily and pull out and it doesn't slide in too far. And I had that same package of Martha Stewart border stickers out that I used on the last layout, I think. And so they are just a little rickrack kind of felt border sticker, real tiny and delicate. And I thought that was cute to put next to the photo to help the photo separate from everything else on the page. So once I had all the rub-ons and stickers down, I still felt like the outside of the paper needed a little help. And since I love sequins, I started adding some turquoise sequins around the edge. And then I found the little blue pearl accents. And so I started adhering those and then added a few sequins to the wave on the yellow pattern paper. So just kind of kept going until it felt right and felt full enough. So anyway, I thought it turned out rather cheerful and summertime-ish. So, but combining the stickers and the rub-ons, even though they are from different companies, it worked out well, and I thought it ended up pretty cute. So I hope you'll give it a try and maybe try a themed layout with some rub-ons and some stickers. I mean, they can be the same company or different companies, but everything seems to mesh well together. So Anyway, and now we'll go on to the third and final layout. And here we have the third layout. As you can see, I actually videotaped myself making this layout. It is sped up quite a bit. I wish I scrapbooked this quickly. But what I did to make sure that I got all these clocks where I wanted them, first I trimmed them all out of their out of the sheet. Like I left the protective backing on the back so that they didn't get stuck together. But then I trimmed around each circle. And then I put them all and laid them all out on my page. Now here's where my mistake was. I should have taken a picture then as I had them laid out how I wanted them and looked at that picture as I was putting them down. But I didn't take a picture, but I had a picture in my head. So it took a little bit longer just to get it kind of laid out how I had first visualized, but it worked out well in the end. So I'll let you watch the video and see it all come together, and then we'll look at the layout at the end. And here you can see I decided to add a few star rub-ons in with the clocks. And you can also see my indecision about the title. These are stickers, but I realized if you don't push them down too much, then they can kind of float on top of the page. And maybe more so since there were rub-ons on the background, but I kind of played around with them a while before I decided exactly what I wanted. And then once I decided, I just pushed them down harder and they stuck just fine. So I'll let you watch me mess around. So you can see once I got all of the rub-ons and the title on, I decided that it still needed a little more something on top of the clocks. And I seem to be on a sequins kick for the past couple years. So I had these bronze sequins that matched the title as well. And so I just adhered a few of those down right on top of the clocks to add a little bit of sparkle and a little extra dimension to the design. And now for the journaling, I actually used some packaging off of some KI rub-ons or stickers, I believe. I just liked the grid design, and I like that it's a thicker cardstock. So I cut those into strips and then cut little notches for the flag on the end, and then hand wrote the journaling on, just real quick journaling, just kind of a list journaling type thing for each person in our family. So I kept it pretty simple, but I liked how the journaling on those strips, keeps everything lined up, and it gives it its own design up there without it just being written right onto the background. And here is the final layout that you watch being made. Thank you so much for joining us for another Products You Love Every Which Way. Mom,